Have you ever walked into someone's home and felt peace? Not because everything was perfect, but because it felt loved. And then you looked at your own space and quietly wondered, why does mine always feel a little off, no matter how much I clean? If that feeling sounds familiar, you're not alone. In this video, I want to share 12 quiet little habits that women over 60 use, not just to keep their homes clean, but to create a space that feels soft, safe, and completely their own. These aren't tips you'll find in a cleaning manual. They're the kind of wisdom passed down at kitchen tables, but rarely spoken out loud. Stay with me until the end, and I promise, you won't just see your home differently, you'll feel differently in it too. I remember visiting my friend Helen last fall. She's 74, lives alone since her husband passed, and makes the best pumpkin muffins I've ever tasted. Her home wasn't grand, but the moment you stepped inside, you felt wrapped in warmth. A candle gently flickering in the corner, folded blankets by the armchair, and not a single thing out of place. I asked her, "Helen, how do you keep it this peaceful?" She smiled, poured tea into 2 chipped mugs, and said, "I just do a little each day. Not for the house, for me. It's how I remind myself I still care." That stayed with me because at a certain age, we don't clean to impress anymore. We clean to remember who we are and to make space for the life that still wants to bloom around us. So let's begin with the first of these quiet, powerful habits. 1. They make their bed as their first win of the day. It might sound simple, almost too simple to matter. But making the bed each morning is one of those quiet, powerful rituals that sets the tone for the entire day. You see, it's not really about the sheets or the pillows. It's about claiming a small victory before the world even asks anything of you. For women over 60, especially those living alone or adjusting to a slower pace of life, the morning can feel heavy, quiet in a way that sometimes aches. That's why this one habit matters more than people realize. When you smooth the blanket, fluff the pillows, and step back to see a space put together, even if the rest of the room isn't perfect, something inside you feels just a little more whole. I remember my neighbor Ruth. After her husband passed, she told me the house felt too big, too still. But she started making her bed every morning, just like she used to. "It's silly," she said, "but when I see my bed neat and peaceful, it's like I've already done something good today." And that goodness carries forward into how we dress, how we eat, even how we speak to ourselves. There's a kind of dignity in order, a small act that whispers, "I still care." Because we're not making the bed for anyone else to see. We're doing it for the woman who wakes up in that bed every morning. We don't tidy the bed to impress the world. We do it to remind ourselves we're still worth showing up for. That brings us to the next habit, one that quietly prevents clutter from ever piling up in the first place. 2. They declutter as they go. Never let mess settle. Clutter doesn't show up all at once. It arrives slowly, quietly. A sweater draped over a chair, yesterday's newspaper on the coffee table, a pair of glasses left beside the sink. At first, we don't even notice. But day by day, little by little, these small things begin to fill the space. And suddenly, our home feels heavier. It's not just physical clutter, it becomes emotional weight. That's why many older women I've known, especially those who keep the most peaceful homes, follow one simple principle: never let mess settle. They don't wait for a cleaning day or tell themselves they'll get to it later. They gently tidy as they go, not out of pressure, but out of love for their space. I think of my neighbor Alice, who's 76 now. She once told me, "Every item you leave out is like a whisper in your ear, reminding you there's more to do." So she follows what she calls the one-touch rule. If she picks something up, a letter, a book, her knitting basket, she doesn't set it down somewhere else. She puts it away. Right then. She says it's her way of keeping life from piling up, both outside and inside. And here's the thing. This habit doesn't take extra energy. In fact, it saves it because the longer things sit, the harder they feel to deal with. When you handle them in the moment, you're not just cleaning, you're staying ahead of the chaos. For women over 60, especially those who are retired or living alone, this habit does something deeper. It creates a sense of calm control. It reminds you that your home doesn't have to fall into disarray just because you're no longer rushing around like you used to. In fact, these slower years offer a beautiful chance to be more present, to notice what's out of place and gently return it to where it belongs. Sometimes we think decluttering means letting go of what we love, but really, it's about keeping only what loves us back. We don't declutter to throw things away. We do it to keep only what gives back to our soul. That brings us to another beautiful habit, one that only takes a moment, but makes every surface in your home feel fresh, cared for, and quietly clean. 3. They wipe surfaces daily, even if it doesn't look dirty. You don't always see it, but it's there. A fine layer of dust on the table, a faint fingerprint on the bathroom mirror, a few crumbs left on the kitchen counter after lunch. And while it may not seem like much, these little things quietly change the way a room feels. Not just how it looks, but how it welcomes you. That's why women with the cleanest, most peaceful homes have a gentle daily habit. They wipe down surfaces, even when they look clean enough. It's not about chasing perfection. It's about tending to the space with quiet care, like brushing your hair even when you're not going out, or lighting a candle not for guests, but for your own sense of calm. I remember my cousin Lorraine. She lived in a small cottage near the woods, and every morning, after making her coffee, she'd take a soft cloth and go from room to room. Just a quick wipe of the counters, the side tables, sometimes the windowsills. She told me once, "It's not really cleaning. It's like saying hello to the house." And you could feel it. Her home always had this lightness to it, like it was well loved. The beautiful part is it only takes a few minutes. A damp microfiber cloth, a gentle spray of vinegar and water, maybe a bit of lemon oil for the wood. No scrubbing, no chemicals, just a quiet act that makes everything feel a little more cared for. And for those of us over 60, this habit carries even more meaning. It gives rhythm to the day, a way to move, to stay active without strain. A moment to check in with your home and with yourself. Because when the surfaces are clean, your mind feels a little clearer too. There's less visual noise, less tension, and you begin to notice things. How the morning light falls across the table, or how nice it is to have a clean space just for your cup of tea. We don't wipe the dust just to clean the house. We do it to clear the space where peace can enter. Now let's look at another habit, one that many women find transforms one of the most exhausting chores into something beautifully manageable. 4. They do a little laundry every day, not just when it piles up. Laundry has a funny way of multiplying when you're not looking. One day the basket's nearly empty. The next, it's a small mountain waiting for attention. And for many women over 60, just the sight of a full laundry bin can feel like a weight, not just on your arms, but on your spirit. That's why women with the calmest, most manageable homes don't wait for laundry day. They do a little every day. One small load, a few towels, a handful of shirts, nothing that feels overwhelming, just enough to keep things flowing. My sister-in-law, June, is 68 and still insists on folding everything with care. She told me, "It's not about having a perfect linen closet. It's about not feeling buried by chores anymore." She'll start a load while making breakfast, fold it after her walk, and by lunchtime it's done. No piles, no pressure, just rhythm. There's something soothing about that rhythm, especially in these slower years of life. It gives shape to the day. It keeps you gently moving, and it saves you from those long, exhausting stretches of standing, bending, lifting, which only get harder with time. And for those of us who live alone, the habit becomes even more important. It's not about volume, it's about ease. Doing a bit of laundry each day means you'll always have clean clothes when you need them. No more realizing you're out of socks or digging through wrinkled blouses to find something decent to wear. Plus, there's a quiet dignity in wearing fresh, folded clothes, even if no one else sees. You feel more put together, more in control, more like the woman you've always been. We don't do laundry to chase perfection. We do it to stay close to our own sense of order. Coming up next is a habit many women overlook, but it's the one thing that can instantly change how your whole kitchen feels each morning. 5. They never leave dishes overnight to protect tomorrow's peace. There's something quietly defeating about waking up to a sink full of dirty dishes. The smell, the clutter, the sense that you're already behind before the day has even begun. And for many women living alone or in smaller homes, that feeling can linger all morning, pulling at your energy before you've had your first sip of coffee. That's why women with the calmest, most comforting homes don't leave dishes overnight. They've learned, often through years of trial and error, that a clean sink is one of the simplest gifts you can give your future self. I remember my Aunt Carol, who raised 4 children and always found a way to end her day with an empty sink. Even if the house was a mess, she once told me, I needed that one space to feel finished. And now, in her 70s, living quietly with her cat and her books, she still wipes the sink dry before bed. Not because anyone's watching, but because she sleeps better knowing the day is truly done. It doesn't take long. 5, maybe 10 minutes after dinner, a few plates, a gentle scrub, a quick rinse. Maybe light a candle while you do it or play your favorite song. The point isn't the cleaning, it's the calm that follows. For many of us, especially at this stage of life, peace doesn't come from big gestures. It comes from these little acts of care, the ones we offer ourselves when no one else is around. The kitchen doesn't just look better in the morning, it feels better, lighter, ready, like it's rooting for you to have a good day. And here's something else I've noticed. When the sink is clean, you're more likely to keep the rest of the kitchen tidy too. It becomes a soft kind of momentum. We don't wash the dishes to erase the day. We do it to begin the next one with grace. Let's move now to another quiet but powerful habit, one that helps prevent one of the most frustrating forms of everyday clutter. 6. They manage paper daily, not monthly. Paper clutter is one of those things that sneaks up on you. A few envelopes left unopened, yesterday's grocery list, a stack of magazines you meant to read. At first, it's harmless, but before long, it starts to spread across the kitchen table, beside the phone, on the edge of your favorite chair, and suddenly, the space you used to love begins to feel crowded with things you haven't dealt with yet. That's why women with the cleanest, most peaceful homes make a quiet choice each day. They handle paper right away, not in a rush, not with frustration, but with the same kind of care they'd give to folding laundry or watering a plant, because they've learned that ignoring it only creates stress tomorrow. My friend Lila, who just turned 70, keeps a small basket by her front door. Every afternoon, when the mail comes in, she stands there for just 2 minutes. Junk mail goes straight into the recycling. Bills go into a labeled folder. Anything personal, a birthday card, a letter from her niece, gets placed gently on her reading table. I don't let it talk back to me, she said once. I decide what it means, and then I put it where it belongs. And it's not just about mail. Receipts, appointment cards, insurance forms, all those little papers that float into our lives. When we handle them daily, they don't get to control the space. We do. Because here's the truth. Cluttered paper isn't just visual noise, it's emotional noise. It whispers of things we haven't finished, decisions we haven't made, and at our age, peace of mind is too precious to hand over to a pile of envelopes. We don't organize paper to be neat. We do it to quiet the mind and make space for what really matters. Now let's move to something even more subtle, a habit that has nothing to do with what you see and everything to do with what you feel in the air around you. 7. They open windows. Even for 5 minutes, a home can look perfectly clean, floors swept, counters wiped, everything in its place, and still feel heavy, stale, as if the air itself is tired. That's because cleanliness isn't just about what we see, it's also about what we breathe. That's why women who keep the freshest, most welcoming homes make it a quiet habit to open the windows, even if just for 5 minutes. Rain or shine, summer or winter. A small moment of fresh air makes all the difference. My friend Judith, who's 72 and lives in a little blue house by the lake, opens her kitchen window every morning while she makes coffee. Just a crack, she says. I let yesterday out and today in. It's not about the temperature, it's about the feeling. The breeze carries away cooking smells, morning grogginess, and the quiet stillness that sometimes settles too long when we live alone. Even on cold days, just lifting the window an inch can refresh a room. It's a small act of care, like breathing deeply after holding your breath for too long. It reminds us that life still moves, that we're still connected to the world beyond our walls. We don't open the window to cool the room. We do it to remind the soul it's still alive. Now let's look at another simple habit, one that touches what we see and touch every day, and helps keep your home feeling lovingly tended with almost no effort at all. 8. They dust daily. High-touch spots only. Dust is quiet. It doesn't knock or ask permission. It just shows up. On the side table, the lampshade, the top of the TV remote. And before we know it, the home we love starts to look like no one's been living in it, even though we're right there every day. That's why women with the cleanest, most cared for homes don't try to dust everything all at once. They just focus on the spots that matter most, the places we touch and see every day. A quick wipe of the nightstand, the armrest of the chair, the kitchen light switch. Just a few minutes, no ladder, no marathon, just presence. My cousin Evelyn, who's 80 now, keeps a soft cloth tucked beside her favorite chair. Every morning after she reads the paper, she dusts the table where she sets her tea, the frame of the photo of her late husband, and the old radio she still listens to. It's my way of saying thank you, she told me once. These things serve me every day. I like to serve them back. Dusting isn't about sparkle. It's about respect. For the home that's held our stories, for the items we reach for every day. It's a way of noticing, of staying in relationship with the space around us. We don't dust to chase shine. We do it to gently honor what still holds us. Up next is an evening habit that takes just a few minutes but has the power to change how you feel the moment you wake up. 9. They tidy before bed, not for the house but for themselves. There's a quiet kind of chaos that happens when we leave the day unfinished. A throw pillow on the floor, a cup left in the sink, a sweater draped across the back of a chair. It doesn't scream at you, but when you wake up and see it, something inside you sighs. It's like the mess you walked away from last night is waiting to greet you in the morning. That's why so many women I know, especially those who've learned the art of peaceful living, spend just a few minutes each night tidying up, not for the house, but for themselves. It's not about making things perfect. It's about creating a soft landing for the day ahead. My dear friend Agnes, who lives alone since her husband passed, shared something with me once. She said, "When I wake up and the living room is calm, I feel like the world hasn't rushed ahead without me." So each night, she folds her blanket, puts her book back on the shelf, wipes the kitchen counter, and straightens her slippers by the bed. 10 minutes, maybe 15. And then she sleeps, knowing she's put the day gently to rest. It's a ritual that becomes a comfort. a way of saying, today is done and I'm ready for tomorrow. And as we get older, that sense of closure means even more. Because peace isn't something that always comes on its own. Sometimes we have to create it. Tidying before bed also gives our mornings back to us. No more starting the day overwhelmed or distracted. Just quiet, just clarity, just you in a space that feels steady. We don't tidy at night because we're neat. We do it because waking to peace is one of the kindest things we can give ourselves. Now let's talk about a trick that makes tidying even easier. A small shift that turns cleaning from a chore into a natural part of your rhythm. 10. They keep cleaning supplies where they need them. Sometimes the hardest part of cleaning isn't the cleaning itself. It's finding what you need. The spray bottle is under the kitchen sink. The cloth is in the laundry room. By the time you've gathered everything, the moment has passed, and so has the motivation. That's why women with the most well-kept homes don't make themselves chase after supplies. They keep a little something in every space, right where it's needed. A dust cloth in the living room drawer, a small bottle of all-purpose cleaner under the bathroom sink, a pack of wipes in the nightstand. It's not clutter, it's convenience. My cousin Marie, who's always had a knack for keeping things simple, keeps a tiny basket in each room. In the kitchen, there's a cloth, a gentle cleaner, and a small brush. In the bathroom, just a sponge and a spray. She says, if I see a smudge, I clean it right then, before I have time to talk myself out of it. And she's right. When it's easy, we're more likely to do it. No guilt, no grand plan, just a soft, daily rhythm that doesn't drain you. Especially as we get older, energy comes in waves, and we need to make it easier to act while the wave is here, instead of waiting for a perfect time that may not come. We don't place supplies close out of laziness. We do it to make caring for our space a little more kind. Now let's move into a habit that touches the ground we walk on. One that makes a home feel instantly cleaner with almost no effort at all. 11. They sweep or vacuum daily, high traffic only. You might not notice it at first, but the floor always tells the truth. A few crumbs near the stove, a trail of dust in the hallway, pet hair gathering quietly along the baseboards. Even when everything else looks tidy, a dirty floor makes the whole house feel just a little off. That's why women with the most welcoming, quietly clean homes don't wait until the weekend to tackle their floors. They do a little each day, not the whole house, just the spots where life really happens. The path from the bedroom to the kitchen, the space around the dining table, the entryway where shoes come and go. It doesn't take long, 2, maybe 3 minutes, but the difference is felt immediately. My neighbor Joan, now in her early 70s, keeps a lightweight, cordless vacuum right by her pantry. Every evening after dinner, she gives the kitchen floor a quick pass. It's not about cleaning, she told me once. It's about not dragging yesterday into tomorrow. And she's right, because when your feet hit a clean floor first thing in the morning, something in you feels a little lighter too. For women our age, it's not about deep scrubbing or perfection. It's about gentle maintenance, the kind that honors your energy and still gives you a sense of calm control. If sweeping feels like too much some days, use a small handheld vacuum or a dust mop with a soft cloth. What matters isn't the tool, it's the habit. And here's something many people don't say out loud. When your floors are clean, it changes how you walk through your home. You move slower, more mindfully. You feel steadier, more grounded. It's not just physical, it's emotional. We don't sweep to fight dirt. We do it to feel at home in every step we take. And now, let's talk about the habit that ties everything together, the one that reminds us why we do any of this in the first place. 12. They enjoy their clean home and let it hug them back. After all the small acts of care, folding, wiping, sweeping, putting things in their place. There's one habit that often goes unspoken, but it's perhaps the most important of all. Women who truly love their homes don't just clean them, they enjoy them. They sit down in the quiet, light a candle, sip a warm cup of tea by the window. They let the space breathe and let it hold them in return. Because at this stage of life, we don't keep house to impress visitors. We do it to feel safe, steady, still connected to who we are. A clean home becomes more than just tidy, it becomes kind. My Aunt Millie used to say, "After I finish cleaning, I sit for 5 minutes in the best chair in the house. I don't check the clock, I just let the peace sink in." We don't care for the house to serve the world. We do it so the house can care for us in return. And now that you've seen these 12 quiet habits, let's wrap it all up and talk about how just one of them might gently change the way you live starting today. So today we've walked through 12 gentle habits, not of perfection, but of peace. Tiny choices that, when done with care, can quietly transform your home into a space that gives back to you day after day. These aren't rules, they're reminders that your home is still your sanctuary, that you still deserve to wake up to calm, to go to bed with comfort, and to move through your space feeling grounded, not overwhelmed. Maybe you won't start with all 12. That's okay. Just pick one. Maybe it's making your bed, or opening the window each morning, or simply putting the mail away right after you bring it in. Let that one habit be your little promise to yourself this week. And here's the truth. You're not doing this because someone told you to. You're doing it because your peace is worth protecting. Your rhythm matters. And you still get to choose how each day feels, no matter your age, no matter your pace. We don't build a peaceful home to be seen. We do it to remember who we are inside it. If this video brought you comfort or a quiet yes in your heart, I'd love for you to share it with a friend who might need the same. And if you'd like more soft, steady guidance, subscribe. There's more where this came from. Until next time, take care, and let your home take care of you too.